guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's CJ, and today I'm going to be talking about things that I would purchase for a beginner in makeup. So basically just like what I think would be a really good beginner's makeup kit. My little sister, she's like 25, so she's not little, but she was kind of into makeup at one point, and she kind of fell out, and then recently she's kind of wanting to get back into it. So for Christmas, I actually cultivated a little cute makeup kit for her. I got a nice little Sony Cash Hook makeup bag at Target and kind of filled it up with some goodies. So that's what I'm going to tell you about. So these are things that I would purchase for a loved one, so it's not me just spewing random shit for a video. This is actually, sorry, my hair's crazy. So it's like actually stuff that I think if you have a beginner in your life, if you are a beginner yourself, that maybe you should look into these products. Also, this face of makeup, I just filmed. It's like basically a shop my stash video. It's just like makeup that I own that I need to use more often. I'm actually really proud of my eyeshadow, if you can see it. So yeah, I will link that in the cards above depending on which video goes up first. But yeah, let's see what I think beginners should own. So, okay, the first thing I got her, and probably like the most important because it's like the foundation, concealer, whatever. Oh, also, side note, some of these things I own myself, some I do not. So if I don't have it, I think most of the stuff I actually do own. So like if I have it, I'll show it, but if I don't, I'll just put a picture up. But anyway, okay, so the first thing is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is the shade 10 Fair. I use this all the time. I tend to go for a little bit more full of a face than I think a beginner, I'm not going to say should, because you should do what you want, but just I feel like beginners, they're kind of maybe a little bit scared of like a full face at first. So this I think is great for a beginner because it's not very full coverage, but you can build it up to be. Also, it's very hydrating. The reason why I like this concealer, I'm just going to go into it. Okay, so the reason I really like this concealer is because it's hydrating. Yes, I have oily skin. It's not too hydrating on me. It's not something that's going to turn you into an oil slick. It's something that I think could be a great foundation. So this is what I told my sister. Okay, so I got her this little gift, right, for Christmas morning. And after like the Christmas morning at my house, like we had a few other houses to go to. So she wanted me to do her makeup and kind of like explain things to her as we went along. So like I did her makeup with the products that I bought her and explained everything. I got her this Maybelline Fit Me because it's a good concealer. Yes, I do think it's great underneath the eyes if you don't have super dark circles. I usually do. So I tend to go for something heavier. But like just, I don't know, for a beginner, for something lightweight, for something easy, for something quick, I just think, and what I told my sister is like, just put it on the areas you need the most coverage. So for me, that would be my under eyes, my nose because it gets red, my forehead, my cheeks, and my chin. Not my entire face, but almost. And so put it there, like put the concealer there, and then just blend it outward from there. And that will give you the biggest coverage where you need it, but also a slight, perfectly even coverage elsewhere. Like I just think this is such a good, just all over product. I used to use this every single day when I was in college, and I went to LSU for a few years. That's where I graduated, and I would wear this every single day. That campus is miles and miles, and so I would be trekking across campus. I would be sweating my ass off because it's Louisiana, and it held up well. Like I just think this is such a solid product. It's something that you can't really screw up, and I think for a beginner that's just so important. I think this is like the perfect, it's not a foundation, but I feel like this is the perfect like foundation, like base for someone that's kind of new to the makeup game and is not wanting to do like a foundation, a concealer, a cream con, like all this other stuff. No, this is good for someone who just wants to do like concealer, powder, mascara, bye, done. Like this is just the perfect item for that. So The next step in a big, oh, that's embarrassing. Okay. So the next step in like a routine, I think, especially when you're using this, is to set it. I did not give my sister this product because I hadn't found a drugstore powder that I liked well enough to give her, and I wasn't trying to spend like $300 to give her a full face of makeup, so I was going all this is drugstore. Okay, I hadn't really found a powder then that I liked well enough to give her. I just gave her like an old elf powder of mine. I was like, look, I don't really like, it's good, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but her skin is a little bit drier than mine, so I thought maybe it would work. I don't know. I should have asked her before I filmed this, but I didn't. So anyways, I gave her that. I don't know if I would recommend that to all beginners. What I am going to recommend though is, I know it's a loose powder and loose powders are kind of scary, but I just think this one is so good. It's the Maybelline Fit Me powder. It's the loose finishing powder in Fair. They have different shades for different skin tones. This is just the one that I got. But I've been using this the past 2 weeks, and it has completely replaced the powder that I thought was my end-all be-all. It is the best. I like the component of it more. All I do is I like kind of that, open it, dip in my damp beauty sponge. If you're a beginner and you're not using a beauty sponge, just dip brush in, apply it. It has a little bit of a pigment to it, so it does give you a little bit more coverage, which if you're just using that one concealer, maybe you need, maybe you don't, I don't know. But I just think this lasts pretty well. I mean, it lasts for me an 8-hour work day. There is a little bit of breakup on me by the end of the day. But I just think for the finish, because it does give you a very flawless, non-cakey finish. So I just think for like the price, the finish, everything, it's perfect. And I think it's really, really good for a beginner. I do. Even though it's a loose powder, and loose powders I'm just now starting to get into. And I've been doing makeup for like a decade, but I don't know. I just know that I've been using makeup for a decade, and I would rather recommend this to a beginner than anything else. Okay. The next product that I got her was this Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I'm sure everyone and their mother has heard about this product, knows about this product, yada, yada, yada. It's a great bronzer. It's kind of expensive for the drugstore. I think it's like $12, $13. But I do think it's worth it. First of all, it smells really good. That's not important, but it does. It's the perfect color for, it's a bronzer, but it's not so warm that you can look like an Oompa Loompa. It's just like, it's not, okay, I'm talking about this shade for people like with my similar skin tones. I don't know about the other shades because I don't use this. But anyway, so I just think this is a great bronzer. I love the undertone of it. I think it's like cool tones, but warm tones. So it's a great like contour bronzer in one, which I think is very important for beginners because they're not wanting to do all these steps. Like, they're probably overwhelmed with all the like information and tutorials that are being chunked at their face. Like, they don't, like, I feel like they wouldn't want all of that. They just want one product to do it and go. So, or to at least warm them up to extra steps, if that makes sense. So I just think this is such a great bronzer. It's not completely matte. It has a little bit of a satin finish to it. I just think it's great. I really do. I use this. I mean, I'm not a beginner. I have like 5 other bronzers, and I still use this one more often than not. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is this Milani Luminoso blush. It's beautiful. I think, okay, I don't know if the one I have is before or after apparently there's been like a reformulation of it. I don't know. I've had this one for a few years, so maybe this is like the OG that like everyone loved. But I do love this a lot, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's a great blush for beginners because it's like a natural color. It's not anything too pink. It's not anything too red. It's the perfect flush of color that will give you a healthy looking awakeness, healthiness, but it's not something that you can go over. I mean, you can go overboard with it, but it's pretty difficult to do so. Like, I just think it's not a blush that you can like make yourself look crazy with. And I think it's really good for a beginner. It's beautiful. I still use this like almost every single day. So I almost didn't get her this, but I just think it's so pretty, and it can be used in other ways. And so I kind of just talked myself into getting it for her. It's the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I don't think all beginners. I mean, I guess it just depends on the person. You know what I mean? A highlighter is an extra step, but I think it's beautiful if done correctly. Also, I know I've saw Allie Glines. She used this as like a finishing powder one day off of like one of her subscribers' recommendations. But I just think this highlighter, I use this every single day myself. I own other highlighters. I've tried multiple different highlighters in my life. I just think it's so natural but so beautiful, and it just this thing's like $4, you guys. So it's like the cheapest thing. So I mean, it doesn't cost barely anything, and then like, you know, it makes you look healthy and awake and beautiful. And I got her an all matte eyeshadow palette, which I'll talk about in a second, and I just thought this would be one of the reasons that talked myself into getting this for her as well, was because I was like, okay, well, that eyeshadow palette didn't have any shimmer, so this could be her shimmer. But it's just like not, I have another swatch on my hand, so this isn't that. It's pretty unassuming in the pan, but just like on your skin, it's just the most beautiful, healthy little touch. Like, it's just beautiful. I love it. And it's I don't know if I've ever gone overboard with this. And I put a lot of this shit on. So yeah. So the eyeshadow palette that I got her was the, I don't have it. I wish I did because I really want it, but I don't need it because I have a bunch of eyeshadow palettes. It's the Milani, what's it called? It's their all matte palette. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. I got her that because I watch a bunch of YouTube videos. I love it. So I got her that because I'd never seen any bad reviews on it, because the colors had basically every dimension you need for like an everyday eyeshadow look. There had a little bit of deeper touches or a little like pop of something, not bright color, but it had a little something to it. So I got her that because I knew the quality was, it must have been decent for everyone to be raving about it. And then just the color selection was nothing crazy. It was nothing too overwhelming for a beginner. And it was all mattes. So there's no like crazy shimmers, like things you have to spritz a brush to use, like anything like that. So I got her that. I've never used that palette. I did use it on her on Christmas morning and it worked beautifully. It was very buildable. It wasn't super pigmented at like first application, but I think that's a good thing for a beginner. So it was just something really easy to like put on but not screw up and then build upon itself. So I think it was really, really good for a beginner. Also, she's been posting a lot of pictures like on the Instagram, on Facebook, and they all look fabulous. And I don't know, I think she really likes the eyeshadow palette, so that's all I really wanted. And then the last thing, well, okay, I did give her a few brushes. I got her the like Wet n Wild brushes because they were on sale at Walgreens when I was doing the present. I used a couple of them on her. Like, I know I used like a foundation stippling brush on her. I did not like it. I ended up just giving her like a brush out of my collection because I tried like putting that concealer on with it, like on her, and I was like, no, this sucks. Here, take this one. Like, just something like that. So I wouldn't recommend that exact brush, but I did use like, I got her like a powder brush or something else from Wet n Wild's, and that one was good. So I think those brushes, they're decent. Also, I did get her, my favorite are the Real Techniques brushes. I think theirs are excellent. They can be a little bit more expensive. I mean, they're a little bit more expensive, but you can usually find those on sale, like at Ulta and stuff. So I got her a set off Walgreens that was on sale. It was like a 2-piece eyeshadow brush set, and it was, I think, like $4. So those are the brushes that I got her. So I would always say e.l.f. brushes are also really, really, really good. So I would say e.l.f. brushes and Real Techniques. Those are the best brushes I've used. And EcoTools, actually. EcoTools is really good. Also, okay, so I did hers pretty late in the game. So I will say Amazon actually has some pretty solid brushes. I have like a huge Amazon brush kit that my boyfriend gave me a few years ago. It's the Bestoke brand. I think they're really good. I mean, it was like a set of like 30 or 40 brushes. Some of them I don't use and like got rid of or gave away or something, but the other ones that I still use and have, like, I love them so much. So there's that. And then did I get her an eye? I didn't get her an eyebrow thing. She doesn't really do her brows. So the last thing I got her was the Covergirl Exhibitionist mascara. I have this obviously because I'm showing it to you. I use this for the most part, every single day. It's a pretty thickening, intense mascara. It might not be the best beginner-friendly mascara. Actually, I have an Essence one called, like, I think it's like You Better Work. I think that one's really good for beginners, but I don't know. This one just seems like a very not basic, but it just seems like a very solid, wholesome mascara that anyone can really use. You know, maybe it can be a little intense. And I did tell her, I was like, look, if you go in on your lower lash line with this, like, wipe the brush off, because it can be a little bit, like, intense. But I just know this is a mascara that I have repurchased a few times. I have tried the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. I did not like that one. It crumpled on me like a mofo. I really do like the number 7 mascara. It's like the full 360 one, but I don't know, just this one stands out to me more than those other two. So that's why I got her this one. So that is it. Oh, and also I will mention as well, she did text me like a few days after and asked me what a good setting. I did not get her a setting spray, just because I didn't know if that would be like too much for a beginner, but she did text me asking for one. And I told her that e.l.f. made I told her that Wet n Wild made decent ones. They kind of smell bad, but they're good. And I also told her if she's willing to splurge a little bit more, that the Milani Make It Last was where it was at, because that's what I use. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. This was my things that I like enough and respect enough to give to a beginner, to not scare them away from makeup forever, to spend money on, to give to my lovely little sister. Yeah. I hope this helps. Even if you're not a beginner, I think these products are incredible. Like, I really, really do. I don't think they're not, like, just because they're beginner friendly doesn't mean they're bad. Like, you know, or they're not anything to write home about. Like, they're good, solid products. Like, products I use every single day. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will stick around. The end screen will have a video for you to maybe check out. Please like, please subscribe, and that's it. Have a good one.